Welcome to our channel, a unique space where you don't merely observe motivational theories. You actively transform your life with every single video. Today's deep dive isn't just about absorbing information. It's a catalyst for profound personal change. We're about to explore an ancient yet remarkably potent system of discipline that has not only forged some of the most influential companies on the planet and cultivated intensely focused individuals, but has also sculpted one of the most revered and enduring cultures in human history, the Japanese. Let me pose a few candid questions. Do you frequently find yourself battling inertia, feeling scattered, or struggling with inconsistency? Have you ever embarked on a promising endeavor only to see it fizzle out before completion? Do you meticulously outline ambitious goals, only to watch your initial enthusiasm wane after just a few days? Do you harbor a genuine desire to become successful, disciplined, and productive, yet feel utterly lost as to where to even begin? If any of this resonates, understand this: you are far from alone. And I assure you, this video is poised to alter that trajectory permanently. The Japanese approach discipline not as a fleeting burst of motivation or a fickle mood, but as a fundamental way of living, a deeply ingrained mindset, a meticulously crafted daily system, a habit that permeates your very being. It settles so profoundly into your bones that the act of trying to be disciplined becomes obsolete. Instead, you genuinely become discipline itself. Today, I am honored to guide you through 7 profound Japanese principles for discipline. These aren't just abstract theories or superficial tips. I will demystify each rule, presenting it in clear, accessible English, buttressed by compelling, real-world examples that illuminate its core meaning and, critically, demonstrate precisely how you can integrate it into the fabric of your own life. Even if past attempts have ended in frustration, even if you feel adrift and purposeless right now, you will gain an unshakable understanding of why each rule holds immense significance and how, collectively, they will fundamentally reconstruct your mindset, reshape your habits, and embed daily discipline at your core. Therefore, I ask one simple yet crucial thing of you: commit to watching this video in its entirety. While a single rule might spark an epiphany, it is the synergistic power of all 7, embraced together, that will irrevocate your life. This isn't a fleeting motivational speech designed for a temporary high. This isn't a misleading shortcut promising instant results. This, my friends, is the profound truth. And before we embark on this transformative journey, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel right now. Join our community if you yearn for more videos that are truly life-changing, meticulously researched and articulated in simple English, not just to inspire you, but to provide a clear, actionable roadmap to the success you intrinsically know you're capable of achieving. Let's begin. Rule 1: Kaizen, the discipline of continuous, incremental improvement. Kaizen Gizhan represents one of the most foundational and powerful ideas embedded within Japanese culture. It translates simply as change for the better, yet its true power lies in its nuance. It doesn't advocate for grand, sweeping transformations, nor does it promise overnight miracles. Instead, Kaizen champions the philosophy of tiny, consistent improvements implemented every single day. Let me illustrate this concept with a powerful mathematical reality. Imagine for a moment that you commit to improving yourself by just 1% each day. Not a daunting 10%, not an impossible 100%, just a modest, almost imperceptible 1%. While it sounds infinitesimally small, if you diligently apply that principle for an entire year, you won't merely be 365% better. Thanks to the breathtaking power of compound growth, you will emerge an astonishing 37 times better. That, precisely, is the mathematical secret that propelled Japan to become one of the most formidable economies in the world. Consider Japan's landscape after the devastation of World War II. Almost everything lay in ruins, shattered. Yet, instead of succumbing to the overwhelming urge to fix everything immediately, they embraced Kaizen. They systematically focused on introducing small, incremental changes every single day, in their bustling factories, their burgeoning schools, and their quiet homes. It might have been one minuscule process improvement on an assembly line, the conscious act of maintaining one cleaner desk, refining one small step in production, or even one more polite and attentive customer interaction. Each of these seemingly insignificant acts accumulated, day after day, year after year. The eventual result? Japanese corporate titans like Toyota, Sony, and Honda didn't just rebuild. They ascended to become undisputed world leaders, symbols of unparalleled quality and efficiency. Take the real-world example of Toyota, consistently ranked among the largest and most respected car manufacturers globally. Their meteoric rise to the top wasn't primarily due to having the most luxurious or fastest cars. It was fundamentally built upon the bedrock of Kaizen. Within Toyota's factories, every single worker, from the seasoned veteran to the newest recruit fresh out of training, is empowered with the authority to halt the entire production line. This isn't a trivial power. It can be exercised if they identify a problem, however minor, or if they conceive of an idea for improvement. Picture that a multi-billion-dollar automotive giant and a regular factory worker can bring the complex machinery to a standstill simply to suggest a small enhancement. That is Kaizen in action. It's a profound respect for the transformative potential of small, consistent changes. As one anonymous Toyota factory worker once eloquently put it, "At the beginning, I honestly didn't understand why my small ideas mattered so much. But every time I spoke up, every time a small change was implemented based on my observation, the entire process improved, however subtly. And in that improvement, I felt an immense sense of pride, not just in building cars but in actively building a better system. That, my friends, is the essence of discipline. That is true ownership. That is Kaizen." Now, let's pivot and apply this to your life. You don't need to awaken tomorrow morning and instantly transform into the most productive person on earth. There's no pressure to become a millionaire in a mere 30 days, nor to completely sculpt your physique in a single week. The elegant simplicity of Kaizen asks just one question of you, every single day. What can I improve, even by just 1% today? Perhaps it's the seemingly trivial act of making your bed with intention. Maybe it's dedicating 10 focused minutes to reading a meaningful book. Could be as simple as deleting one useless app from your phone that subtly drains your time and attention. Perhaps it's taking 5 minutes to write down your goals for the day, or choosing a glass of refreshing water instead of a sugary soda. The individual action itself is small, almost negligible, but the cumulative discipline it cultivates is unstoppable. When you consciously apply Kaizen, you gracefully eliminate the crushing pressure to achieve perfection. You cease the self-defeating internal monologue of, "I failed again." Instead, you begin to internalize and affirm the empowering truth, "I am actively improving every single day." And that mindset, that consistent, small step repeated daily, will transport you to places that sheer motivation alone could never reach. Kaizen. It is the discipline of continuous, incremental improvement. One small, deliberate step every single day. A principle famously leveraged by corporate giants like Toyota to construct world-class systems. You, too, can harness its power to perpetually enhance your life, habits, and mindset forever. Rule 2. Ikigai, find your purpose, and discipline will naturally follow. What if I propose to you that the solution to your struggles with consistency isn't more motivation hacks, nor an endless quest for new discipline techniques? What if the answer lies simply in finding a reason, a profound, meaningful, emotionally resonant reason, to greet each new morning with purpose? That, in essence, is what the Japanese refer to as ikigai. So what exactly does ikigai encompass? Let's deconstruct this beautiful concept. Iki translates to life, and gai signifies worth or value. Therefore, ikigai in its purest form means the reason your life is worth living. It's far more expansive than merely your career. It transcends just your personal passions. Ikigai resides at the harmonious intersection of 4 fundamental and powerful spheres. What you love *, the activities that ignite your soul, that make time dissolve. What you're good at * your natural talents, develop skills and areas of competence. What the world needs * the problems you wish to solve, the contributions you yearn to make, the impact you seek to leave. What you can be paid for * the practical aspect of sustaining your life through your meaningful contributions. When you discover that sweet spot where all 4 of these vital elements converge and align, that is your ikigai. And once you unearth this deeply personal wellspring of purpose, discipline miraculously ceases to be a struggle. It becomes virtually effortless. You are no longer forcing yourself through tasks. You are being irresistibly pulled forward by something inherently greater than yourself. You're not pushing against resistance. You're gracefully flowing with an undeniable current. Allow me to share the inspiring story of Jiro Ono, a legendary Japanese sushi chef. Jiro isn't merely any chef. He is a living testament to ikigai, still meticulously crafting sushi in his 90s. His humble, 10-seat restaurant, Tsukiyabashi Jiro, has garnered an unprecedented 3 Michelin stars, and eager patrons routinely wait months for a coveted reservation. Even former President Barack Obama, after dining there, famously declared it the best sushi he had ever experienced. But here lies the most profound part of his story. Jiro awakens every single day, well before the sun crests the horizon, to perform the exact same intricate craft he has dedicated over 70 years to, making sushi. Most people, observing this unwavering routine, might wonder aloud, isn't that incredibly boring? The same rice, the same fish, the same precise movements, day in and day out? But for Jiro, the answer is a resounding no. Because his life's work is his ikigai. He once famously articulated his philosophy, even after decades, I feel like I haven't mastered it yet. There's always something to improve. I just want to make better sushi today than I did yesterday. Jiro isn't driven by the fleeting allure of fame or the relentless pursuit of external success. He is driven by the profound, intrinsic pursuit of meaning. And that is precisely why his discipline is utterly unbreakable. This illustrates a fundamental truth. Why creates natural discipline? If you haven't yet identified your true purpose, you will perpetually grapple with discipline. You'll hit the snooze button repeatedly. You'll find countless ways to sidestep challenging work. You'll constantly defer action, promising yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But when you are guided by your ikigai, discipline transforms into a powerful, instinctive force. Consider it through these compelling analogies. A soldier doesn't require external motivation to train relentlessly. He is propelled by the sacred duty of protecting his country. A mother doesn't need to summon discipline to lovingly care for her newborn. That child is her very lifeblood. An artist doesn't need to be coerced into painting. It's as essential to their existence as the air they breathe. When you discover your ikigai, you are no longer pushed or coerced. You awaken, and you instinctively move forward, not because someone or something outside of you demands it, but because your very heart insists upon it. Let's delve deeper and provide a step-by-step framework to assist you in identifying your own ikigai. What do you love? Ask yourself, what activity causes you to completely lose track of time? What could you engage in for hours on end without ever feeling bored or drained? What subject genuinely excites you when you speak about it with others? What are you good at? Even if you don't consider yourself the absolute best, where do you feel a natural sense of confidence and competence? Is it writing, teaching, drawing, leading, problem-solving? What specific skills or qualities do people frequently compliment you on? What does the world need? Look beyond yourself. What pressing problems in the world stir your empathy and desire for action? Who do you genuinely want to help or serve? What kind of positive impact do you aspire to make on your community or the broader world? What can you be paid for? This is the practical bridge. You might adore playing the guitar, but can you realistically transform that passion into a sustainable source of income? This dimension is crucial for building a life that is both purposeful and independently sustainable. Strive to locate that harmonious sweet spot where all 4 of these vital elements gracefully overlap. Even if it initially appears small, even if it feels imperfect, start there. That is the nascent seed of your ikigai. There exists a remarkable place in Japan called Kyotango, a region renowned for having one of the highest percentages of centenarians, people who live beyond 100 years. When researchers meticulously interviewed these extraordinary individuals, inquiring about the secrets to their longevity, they didn't primarily speak about specific diets or rigorous exercise regimens. Their first and most profound responses revolved around ikigai. One elderly man profoundly articulated, "Every day I wake up and I have something meaningful to do. Someone to help, a garden to tend, a smile to share. That's why I live." These individuals don't retire in the conventional sense, nor do they passively await their end. They live with vibrant purpose, actively engaged, until their very last breath. And that isn't some mystical secret. That is profound discipline, beautifully driven by ikigai. You might be thinking, but I haven't discovered my ikigai yet. And that's perfectly all right. Ikigai isn't typically found overnight, like a lost item. It is diligently built and uncovered through a process of sincere reflection, courageous action, and persistent exploration. Here's how you can begin that journey. Start doing more of what genuinely excites you, even if it's initially for free or as a hobby. Actively explore new skills and interests. Writing, coding, teaching, various forms of art, community organizing. Volunteer your time for a cause that feels deeply meaningful to you. Build small side projects centered around activities you genuinely enjoy. Practice saying no to commitments and activities that feel draining, meaningless, or misaligned. Consciously say yes to opportunities that resonate with your nascent sense of purpose. And most importantly, don't chase money for its own sake. Chase meaning. Because when you authentically create meaning and value in the world, the financial rewards often follow naturally and sustainably. Ikigai. It is your profound reason to live, your ultimate purpose. It beautifully intertwines what you truly love, what you are genuinely good at, what the world desperately needs, and what you can be paid for. When you live your life guided by your ikigai, discipline ceases to be a tiresome struggle. It transforms into your very nature, an intrinsic force. Find your ikigai, and you will never awaken feeling empty or rudderless again. This, fundamentally, is what Japanese discipline embodies. It's not about oppressive strictness. It's about being profoundly connected to what matters most deeply. And if you wish to comprehend this transformative concept with even greater depth, we have already crafted a comprehensive Ikigai book summary on our channel, explained in incredibly simple English so that even complete beginners can effortlessly understand it and learn how to apply its principles step by step. I urge you to watch that video if you are truly serious about constructing a life rich in purpose, burning with passion, and characterized by powerful, unwavering daily discipline. Rule 3, Shitsuke, the discipline of character and self-control. Let me guide you into a profound, yet often overlooked, facet of Japanese culture. It's not hidden away, but rather so intricately woven into the fabric of their daily existence that most people, even the Japanese themselves, no longer perceive it as anything particularly special. This concept is called Shitsuke, and it signifies something far more profound than mere manners or superficial good behavior. Shitsuke embodies the deep-rooted discipline of character. It speaks to the way you carry yourself through the world, the integrity with which you treat others even when no one is observing, and how you conduct your life when there's no external reward promised, no punishment threatened, just you, guided by your intrinsic inner code. In essence, Shitsuke is self-discipline that has been practiced and refined until it becomes your very second nature. It's not merely something you do, it's something you are. It's not about rigid rules etched onto a wall. It's about core values deeply inscribed within your soul. This profound concept is meticulously instilled in Japanese individuals from their earliest childhood. It's achieved not through harsh reprimands or the installation of fear, but through the gentle yet powerful forces of consistent repetition, mindful observation, and cherish daily rituals. Shitsuke unequivocally teaches you that discipline is not born from external pressure. It blossoms from dedicated, consistent practice. Let's take a closer look inside a typical Japanese elementary school. Every morning, children arrive immaculately dressed in their clean uniforms, a polite smile gracing their faces, each carrying a personal cloth specifically for cleaning their school. Yes, you read that correctly. In Japan, it is a universally accepted norm that students themselves clean their own classrooms, meticulously scrub their own toilets, sweep the hallways, and even maintain the lunch areas. There are no janitors on staff, no external cleaning crew. No one is compensated to clean up after them, because the overarching goal isn't solely to maintain a pristine school environment. It is more profoundly to build character. By engaging in these acts of communal responsibility every single day from a very young age, students internalize a profound respect for shared spaces, embrace personal accountability for their own messes, and cultivate the discipline to act responsibly without needing constant instruction or supervision. And here's the most remarkable aspect. They don't complain, because for them this is simply normal. This is Shitsuke in action. A daily habit, patiently repeated, that slowly but inexorably shapes their identity and integrity. Now, let's explore why most people struggle with discipline and how Shitsuke offers a powerful remedy. Let me share a difficult yet essential truth. The majority of individuals fail to cultivate genuine discipline not because they are inherently weak, but because they treat discipline as a temporary tool, something to be deployed only when absolutely necessary. You might eat healthy only for a few weeks before a wedding. You study intensely only the night before a crucial exam. You work diligently only when your boss's watchful eye is upon you. Asterisk, that is not discipline. That is mere performance. Shitsuke advocates the exact opposite philosophy. It posits that if something is worth doing, it should be executed with meticulous care, unwavering pride, and consistent dedication, even when absolutely no one is observing. Because authentic, lasting success doesn't spring from intermittent bursts of intense effort. It emerges from the silent, consistent cultivation of habits of excellence, built quietly, day after day. You don't become truly great by accomplishing monumental tasks once. You become great by consistently executing small, seemingly insignificant tasks exceptionally well, every single day without fail. Consider, as another compelling example, the traditional Japanese tea ceremony, known as shinoyu. It is globally recognized as one of the most serene, elegant, and spiritually profound rituals in the world. Every single movement, from the precise manner in which the host walks, to the delicate way the tea is poured, to the specific angle at which the cup is held, is practiced with astonishing precision, grace, and mindfulness. Here's the truly amazing part. This elaborate ritual isn't just about preparing and serving tea. It is fundamentally about cultivating a profound mindset. The tea master, or chajin, dedicates decades to rigorous training. They practice bowing, pouring, folding ceremonial cloths, and greeting guests, repeating these intricate actions countless times. Why? Because every single movement, no matter how small, is understood to reflect one's inner discipline and presence. You learn to perform everything with utmost care, with complete presence, and with deep respect. And when that refined mindset permeates your tea ceremony, it invariably begins to permeate every other aspect of your entire life. That is Shitsuke. You may not attend a Japanese school. You may never perform a traditional tea ceremony. But here is the undeniable truth. You are already actively building your character every single day. Every time you consciously choose to show up on time or, conversely, arrive late, you are subtly training your identity. Every time you meticulously clean and organize your personal space or, alternatively, leave it in disarray, you are actively shaping your discipline. Every time you communicate with respect and empathy, or with anger and dismissiveness, you are constructing a specific version of yourself. You are, quite simply, becoming who you practice being. That profound realization is the very heart of Shitsuke. It isn't about rigid rules. It is about deliberate, consistent repetition. You don't need to forcefully impose discipline upon yourself. You need to thoughtfully design your environment and meticulously craft your actions to make discipline an automatic, ingrained response. Here's how you can begin building Shitsuk into your life today. Respect small tasks. Don't wait for grand opportunities to demonstrate professionalism and excellence. Consciously fold your clothes neatly. Place your phone back in its designated spot after use. Take a moment to wipe down your desk after you've finished working. These tiny, consistent habits are precisely where true, foundational discipline begins to take root. Repeat with care. Cultivate the habit of doing things the right way, even when they seem mundane or boring. If you're brushing your teeth, do it with full attention and focus. If you're eating, chew with awareness and savor each bite. The profound truth is that the way you do anything is ultimately the way you do everything. Don't outsource responsibility. Cease the habit of waiting for someone else to rectify a mess. Whether it's a physical clutter, an unresolved emotional problem, or a persistent work issue, take ownership and start with your part. Shitsuk inherently means taking proactive ownership, not fabricating excuses. Teach by doing, not preaching. If you are a parent, a teacher, a leader, or simply someone others look up to, don't just instruct others to be disciplined. Be the living example. Allow your consistent, disciplined actions to speak far louder and more effectively than your mere words ever could. The fundamental difference between a temporary winner and a lifelong champion isn't primarily talent. It isn't random luck. It isn't even a fleeting surge of motivation. It is Shitsuk. It is that invisible yet potent character, that internal operating system, that daily, unwavering structure, that quiet, intrinsic pride in consistently doing things the right way. Not just once, not just twice, but every single time. Shitsuk is the venerable Japanese art of building discipline through the cultivation of strong character and unwavering self-control. It is learned through consistent daily habits, embraced responsibility, and mindful repetition, rather than through fear or punishment. Japanese children clean their own schools to deeply internalize responsibility. Masters train for decades to master presence and meticulous care. You, too, can apply Shitsuk by honoring small tasks, actively owning your habits, and consistently leading by impeccable example. Shitsuk transforms you from a person who tries to be disciplined into a person who is disciplined, naturally, powerfully, and silently. Rule 4. Kaikaku, the discipline of radical change. There arrives a pivotal juncture in every person's life when the strategy of small, incremental improvements, while valuable, simply isn't sufficient. A moment when established routines, once comforting, transform into insidious traps. A point when consistency, previously a virtue, slowly morphs into dangerous complacency. In such critical junctures, the only viable path to true growth necessitates something radical. In Japanese, this profound concept is known as kaikaku. Kaikaku signifies reform, a fundamental transformation, a complete and often abrupt change of direction. This is not about minor edits or slight adjustments. It is about breaking down the existing system and courageously constructing an entirely new, superior one. Kaikaku embodies the discipline of bold, decisive change. It is undertaken not because you feel like it, but because your very life or your ambition demands it. What precisely constitutes kaikaku? Let's be unequivocally clear. Kaikaku is not a panicked, impulsive reaction. It is not the act of quitting simply because things have become difficult or uncomfortable. Kaikaku arises from a profound, often uncomfortable realization that your current path, your present environment, your ingrained habits, your entire prevailing lifestyle is no longer serving your growth or leading you towards your desired future. And crucially, it is having the unwavering discipline and courage to execute a drastic, fundamental shift. This could manifest as the courageous act of walking away from a toxic job, not because it's the easy escape, but because it is actively eroding your future and well-being. It might mean the painful but liberating decision to delete every single distracting app from your phone, even if it initially feels like a limb is being severed. Kaikaku could demand changing your social circle, overhauling your entire diet, completely redesigning your daily schedule, or even fundamentally reshaping your core identity. This is because the life you deeply yearn for is simply not attainable with the habits, patterns, or environment you currently possess. Kaikaku is not for the complacent or the comfortable. It is explicitly reserved for the courageous. Let's examine a legendary company from Japan's history, Nintendo. Today, most people instantly associate Nintendo with iconic games like Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. However, very few are aware of the incredible story of radical discipline that underpins its enduring success. Nintendo was founded way back in 1889. And do you know what they originally manufactured? Playing cards, meticulously handmade for Japanese families. For nearly 70 years, they remained comfortably within that specific business niche. But by the 1950s, demand for playing cards was steadily shrinking. The world was evolving, and people sought new forms of entertainment. This was Nintendo's profound Kaikaku moment. They could have chosen the path of least resistance, continuing to produce playing cards, clinging to their familiar comfort zone. Instead, the visionary leadership made a massive, audacious risk. They began a series of bold experiments, first with toys, then with nascent electronic games, and eventually with revolutionary home consoles. By the 1980s, they launched the legendary Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, an innovation that completely revolutionized and reshaped the entire gaming world. Today, Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, currently valued at over $60 billion. And this astonishing transformation occurred because they possessed the profound discipline to declare, "Our old ways no longer define our future. Let us dismantle what is comfortable and courageously build what is truly necessary." That is Kaikaku. In Rule 1, we explored Kaizen, the powerful principle of slow and steady improvement. But here's an undeniable truth. Sometimes, Kaizen, with its gentle, incremental pace, is simply too slow for a life that feels like it's unraveling. Sometimes, you don't have the luxury of 10 years to gradually implement change. Sometimes, you need to execute something drastic, and you need to do it today, before you squander any more precious time, valuable energy, or irretrievable opportunities. That is precisely where Kaikaku enters the picture. It is that crucial moment when you finally stop making excuses. You cease uttering the passive phrase someday, and with resolute determination, declare, "I've had enough. The old version of me ends here. A new one begins now." Allow me to share the compelling story of a man who implicitly practiced Kaikaku without ever knowing the term. He was 38 years old, holding a respectable job, raising a family, living in a modest house. From an external perspective, his life appeared perfectly fine, even unremarkable. But internally, he was profoundly unhappy. He was significantly overweight, trapped in a cycle of junk food and screen addictions, battling depression, plagued by anxiety, and felt utterly stuck in a suffocating rut. He repeatedly promised himself he would change slowly, gradually. He purchased self-help books, made ambitious New Year's resolutions, and attempted to start new routines, but nothing truly worked. This was because he was trying to mend a fundamentally broken system while stubbornly remaining inside that very system. Until one day, something profound snapped within him. He took an entire week off work, completely disconnected his phone, purged every single processed food item from his kitchen, canceled every unnecessary subscription, began waking up at 5 a.m., walked for 90 minutes each morning, and diligently wrote in a journal. In that concentrated week, he changed everything. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Was it instantly and permanently perfect? Not immediately, but it was the unequivocal turning point. That is Kaikaku, the unyielding decision to burn the old blueprint and courageously draw a completely new one. How do you know if you are in dire need of Kaikaku? Ask yourself these piercing questions right now. Am I perpetually repeating the same frustrating problems, month after month, year after year? Am I genuinely improving and growing? Or am I merely surviving? Am I still blaming my external environment or circumstances instead of taking radical steps to change them? Am I living with vibrant energy and purpose? Or am I simply existing? Am I endlessly waiting for the right time to finally start over, to reinvent myself? If your honest answer to most of these questions is yes, then you don't require more fleeting motivation. You desperately need kaikaku. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You already know, deep down, precisely what needs to change. You've known it for a long, long time. You're merely waiting for the pain to intensify, for the discomfort to become unbearable. But why wait? Why remain trapped and stagnant when genuine freedom is potentially just one bold, decisive decision away? How to practice kaikaku, even if you're terrified. Kaikaku, by its very nature, is frightening. It demands immense emotional courage and a willingness to step into the unknown. But you don't need to change absolutely everything overnight. You simply need to identify the right thing that requires change and commit to executing that change boldly and fully. Here's how to begin. Identify what is no longer serving you. Be brutally, unflinchingly honest with yourself. Is it your daily routine, your current social circle, your job, your deeply ingrained health habits? Do not sugarcoat it. Name it explicitly. Commit to one radical change. Not 10 small, incremental ones. Just one bold, transformative action that unequivocally alters your fundamental direction. Quit the thing you've been tolerating. Start the thing you've been consciously avoiding. Let go of your past identity. Kaikaku unequivocally demands that you declare, I am no longer who I used to be. Even if people around you don't fully understand, even if it feels incredibly lonely, remember this. You are not here to remain static. You are here to evolve, to transcend. Create structure around the new. Discipline, particularly radical new discipline, doesn't survive on fleeting excitement alone. You must meticulously design your environment to actively support and reinforce the new, improved version of yourself. Implement a new schedule, acquire new tools, establish new non-negotiable standards. Be brave enough to break your own deeply ingrained patterns. Discipline isn't just about doing more. Sometimes, it is profoundly about doing something completely different. Kaikaku serves as a powerful reminder. You are not a tree. You possess the inherent ability to move. You can transform. You can fundamentally reprogram your entire life. This is possible if you stop fiercely protecting your comfort zone and begin, instead, to fiercely protect your future. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be utterly fearless. You just need to be unequivocally done with your excuses and genuinely ready to embrace a new, empowered chapter. Kaikaku means radical reform. Kaikaku isn't about the slow, incremental changes that merely tweak the edges of a problem. It's a philosophy of bold, radical transformation, a complete overhaul. Think of iconic Japanese companies like Nintendo, which didn't just adapt. They executed Kaikaku, pivoting from playing cards and love hotels to dominating the global video game industry, repeatedly reinventing themselves to seize new markets. This isn't for the faint of heart. It's for individuals who are genuinely tired of repeating the same failures, who recognize that stagnant patterns lead only to deeper ruts. It demands the courage to break what's comfortable, to dismantle the familiar routines, beliefs, and environments that, while safe, no longer serve your growth. And then, it requires the audacity to create what's necessary, to build new structures, habits, and mindsets aligned with your highest potential. You cannot expect to expand your life while staying confined within systems, whether internal or external, that actively shrink you. True growth emerges from the deliberate, sometimes painful act of changing those systems from their foundation. Rule 5 Hans. The discipline of honest self-reflection. In a world perpetually obsessed with outward success, where accomplishments are flaunted and failures are often buried or deflected, there exists one fundamental skill that most people instinctively avoid. It's a practice that paradoxically makes the strongest individuals even more formidable, while simultaneously causing the weakest to slowly fade into irrelevance. This skill is self-reflection. Yet, in Japan, Hans isn't merely an option or an occasional introspection. It's a daily discipline, deeply ingrained as a cultural expectation, a vital way of living that shapes character from childhood. The term Hans itself encapsulates this profound concept, meaning to reflect deeply, to meticulously examine one's actions and motives, and crucially, to take responsibility without excuses. But what exactly constitutes Hans is far more rigorous than simply thinking about what happened. It's not a casual journaling exercise, where thoughts drift without consequence. It's certainly not the dismissive, "Oh, well, I'll do better next time" sentiment, which often serves as a convenient bypass for real accountability. Hans is brutally honest self-evaluation. It is the non-negotiable discipline of stopping everything, pausing the relentless forward march of life, and asking yourself, with unflinching sincerity, where did I genuinely go wrong? What specific mistake did I make? Not just what went wrong around me. What essential lesson did I learn from this experience? How can I unequivocally ensure this never, ever happens again? In Japanese culture, this practice is so fundamental that even when someone experiences a monumental success, they still meticulously perform Hans. The ultimate goal is never merely perfection, which is often an illusory target. The enduring goal is growth, and profound, lasting growth comes only from relentless, honest reflection. Let's step inside one of Japan's most globally respected companies, Toyota. Renowned worldwide for its unparalleled quality, legendary efficiency, and relentless innovation, Toyota's success is often attributed to its operational excellence. But do you know what truly happens after every major project, even a spectacularly successful one? They convene a Hans meeting. And here's the most shocking revelation for many Western observers. Even if the project was a complete, unmitigated success, they are required to find flaws. It's not optional. It's an absolute requirement. Why? Because within Toyota's deeply ingrained culture, if a team proudly declares, "We did everything perfectly," they are not met with praise. Instead, they are met with probing questions. Why this rigorous skepticism in the face of triumph? Because there is always, without exception, room for improvement. And if you consciously choose not to seek out and address your mistakes, hidden and festering, will inevitably find you, often at the most inconvenient and damaging times. That's the undeniable heart of Hans. It is the core belief that genuine progress withers and dies the moment ego is allowed to flourish and blind complacency sets in. Conversely, true discipline begins precisely when you become brutally honest with yourself, laying bare your imperfections and shortcomings for the sole purpose of betterment. Now, let's turn the lens on you. Let's talk about us. Why do so many capable individuals remain stuck, repeating the same cycles of frustration, year after year? It's rarely because they lack inherent talent. It's seldom due to a complete absence of opportunity. It's not even primarily because they're inherently lazy. It is, more often than not, because they profoundly lack Han. They fail to take the crucial time to pause, to deeply reflect, and to courageously admit, that failure was unequivocally my fault, my misjudgment. That persistent delay was a direct consequence of my habit, my procrastination. That broken relationship was a manifestation of my recurring pattern, my unresolved issues. Instead of this difficult, confronting self-analysis, what do? They blame. They distract themselves with busy work and trivialities. They numb their feelings with escapism. They invent narratives. It's not my fault. It's just bad luck. It's the system that's rigged against me. But here lies the unwavering truth. You cannot possibly improve what you refuse to confront, and you cannot confront what you relentlessly keep denying. Consider a revealing anecdote from a Japanese high school. A diligent student achieved the impressive feat of scoring second rank in the entire class. Most parents, and indeed most educators globally, would celebrate such an accomplishment. But this particular student's teacher posed just one question, imbued with the spirit of Hans. Where did you lose the first mark? The student was momentarily shocked, not because the teacher was angry or disappointed, but because the teacher embodied the unwavering belief in Hans. It wasn't intended as a punishment or a critique of the student's success. It was a profound act of discipline, a pathway to grow even beyond what was already a remarkable achievement. Years later, the student recounted, "That singular moment irrevocably changed how I perceived achievement. I learned that even in victory, I must still ask with humility and determination, how can I possibly be better? That, precisely, is honorable. That is how true champions are forged and built, not through unchecked praise, but through the rigorous crucible of reflection." Discipline isn't just about initiating action. It's fundamentally about correction. And meaningful correction can only ever spring from profound awareness. Think of your life as a meticulously engineered train. Kaizen helps you continuously improve the engine, making it run smoother and more efficiently. Ikigai provides you with a compelling reason to even embark on the journey, a deep sense of purpose. Shitsu keeps you diligently on track, maintaining consistency and focus. Kaikaku empowers you to bravely change direction when the destination no longer serves you. But without Hans, you will never truly know if you are inadvertently heading down the wrong path, accelerating towards a destination that is not your own. You'll simply keep going faster with greater efficiency, but in the wrong direction entirely. Hans serves as the essential mirror, the critical checkpoint, the unavoidable moment of truth in your journey. This isn't about idly writing down your feelings for emotional release. It's about a clear, honest, unfiltered reflection aimed at the practical, tangible outcome of becoming a better human being. Whether as a student, a worker, a leader, a parent, or a friend. Here's how to integrate Hans into your life. End every day with reflection *** before you allow yourself to drift into sleep. Take 5 to 10 dedicated minutes. Ask yourself with specific, brutal honesty, what did I do exceptionally well today? Where did I undeniably waste my precious time? What crucial task or conversation did I actively avoid? Who might I have inadvertently hurt or neglected? What am I genuinely proud of from this day? What absolutely must I change, starting tomorrow? Be specific. Be real. Turn reflection into action ***. Reflection without concrete change is utterly useless. It's merely intellectual masturbation. If you realize you squandered hours endlessly scrolling on your phone, immediately set app limits for tomorrow morning. If you acknowledge you were rude or dismissive to someone, make a sincere apology the very first thing you do tomorrow. If you skipped your planned workout, schedule it like an unmissable, critical meeting for the next day. Honesty demands action. Teach others through Han ***. If you hold a position of influence, as a parent, a boss, or a teacher, it is your duty to teach people how to reflect, not just react. After a mistake occurs, resist the urge to ask, why did you fail? This promotes blame and defensiveness. Instead, pivot to questions that foster growth. What did you learn from this experience? How will you approach this situation differently next time? This approach inherently builds emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is the direct pathway to profound emotional discipline. Perform monthly Han checkpoints *** once a month. Carve out a sacred 1 to 2 hours of solitude. Reflect deeply on the preceding 30 days. Ask yourself these piercing questions. Did I truly grow in any significant area? Did I repeat any detrimental bad habits or patterns? Am I actively becoming the kind of person I genuinely respect? What crucial element must I fix, immediately and decisively? Use this dedicated time to reset your intentions, recharge your spirit, and intensely refocus your efforts. This consistent practice will make you undeniably wiser, because you will learn from your experiences at an accelerated rate compared to others. It will make you profoundly humble, because you'll cease blaming external factors and start owning your contributions. It will make you considerably stronger, because you'll spot and address weaknesses long before they have a chance to destroy you. And above all, it will make you impeccably disciplined, because you will never, ever let the same mistake win twice. This is precisely how the Japanese consistently become masters of their craft, not just good workers. They look back with unflinching honesty so they can move forward with greater wisdom and precision. Hans means deep, honest, and consistent self-reflection, practiced by world-class companies like Toyota and diligently taught in schools to build unshakable character. It's not about guilt. It's about unwavering growth. Without this crucial reflection, discipline devolves into blind, meaningless repetition. But with reflection, discipline transforms into intelligent evolution. Rule 6. Gamen. The discipline of endurance, strength, and silent power. There exist two fundamentally different kinds of strength in this world. There's the loud, overt kind, bulging muscles, triumphant shouting, limits spectacularly broken on camera, all for public consumption. And then there is the silent kind, the quiet, unyielding power of enduring pain with dignity, of holding complex emotions with composure, of maintaining an unbreakable calm amidst the most devastating chaos. Gamen embodies this second, rarer, and arguably far greater form of strength, one of the most profound disciplines you can ever hope to master. The word gamen itself is derived from two potent Japanese characters, ga, meaning self, and man, meaning to tolerate or to endure. Together, gamen signifies to hold the self, to endure with unyielding dignity, to face immense difficulty with extraordinary patience and an unwavering inner strength. But it transcends mere patience. It is about controlled strength, the kind of formidable power that has no need to scream, to brag, or to broadcast its presence to prove its reality. We inhabit a culture that increasingly teaches people to externalize and show everything. You feel angry? Explode in a public display. You feel tired? Quit immediately, citing exhaustion. You feel pain? Complain loudly, seeking immediate sympathy. You face failure? Blame everyone and everything around you. But the Japanese, for generations, have cultivated and practiced something profoundly different. When confronted with hard times, they don't break down publicly. They don't generate excessive noise or drama. They don't beg for sympathy or pity. Instead, they quietly, resolutely endure and, with an almost stoic grace, keep moving forward. That is the essence of gamen. It is not weakness. It is not unhealthy suppression. It is the ultimate mastery of self. Consider the events of March 11, 2011, when a massive earthquake triggered a devastating tsunami that crashed into Japan's coastline. Over 20,000 precious lives were lost in an instant. Entire cities were utterly destroyed. Families vanished without a trace. The entire world watched in stunned horror. But what truly astonished and deeply moved everyone was the extraordinary way the Japanese people responded. Amidst unfathomable destruction, there was no looting, no hysterical screaming, no widespread violence, no pervasive chaos. Instead, there were long, orderly queues for scarce food. People quietly shared their dwindling water supplies. Neighbors, despite their own losses, actively helped each other. Children, even in their terror, bowed respectfully to emergency workers. Elderly men, having lost everything they owned, still stoically carried their own bags. No one was heard asking, "Why me?" With quiet resolve, they simply affirmed, "We must move forward together." That, in its purest, most profound form, is gamen. The discipline to suffer with unwavering strength, to carry immense pain without burdening or passing it to others, and to remain fundamentally calm even when your entire world has quite literally collapsed around you. Discipline is not merely about what you choose to do when life is easy, comfortable, and predictable. It is about who you irrevocably become when life is unequivocally unfair, impossibly hard, or seemingly hopeless. When your meticulously crafted plans spectacularly fail. When someone you trusted deeply betrays you without a second thought. When your body is racked with excruciating pain. When you are bone-weary, truly scared, and emotionally broken. What is your default response? Do you panic uncontrollably? Do you complain incessantly to anyone who will listen? Do you simply give up, surrendering to the despair? Or do you possess the inner fortitude to sit quietly with your pain, breathe deeply through its intensity, and declare with unyielding conviction, I will survive this, no matter how difficult it becomes. And I will absolutely not allow this adversity to destroy or define who I fundamentally am. Gamen is not about pretending that everything is perfectly fine when it clearly isn't. It is about actively preventing pain, no matter how intense, from transforming you into someone you are not, someone weak, bitter, or broken. That is genuine discipline. That is true, enduring strength. In 2019, during the intensely competitive All-Japan University Women's Ekiden race, a marathon relay, something truly unbelievable unfolded. A 19-year-old runner named Rei Ida, not Yuki Kawachi, as originally stated, a common misattribution, was running her stretch of the grueling race. Suddenly, she fell catastrophically and fractured her leg. She could not stand. She could not run. But her entire team, her teammates, were counting on her. So what did she do? With unimaginable resolve, she crawled on her hands and knees for over 200 meters, leaving a trail of blood on the asphalt, driven by pure will. She crawled until she physically reached her teammate, ensuring the sash was passed, allowing the race to continue. The audience watched, many in tears, yet she never cried out in pain. She never stopped. When asked later why she didn't quit, she simply stoically said, I had to pass the sash. That was my duty. This, unequivocally, is Gamen. The discipline to honor your promise, to fulfill your duty, even when your body screams for collapse, even when pain threatens to overwhelm your very being. You may not find yourself running a marathon relay with a fractured leg, or enduring the immediate aftermath of a tsunami. But you will face pain in your life, physical, emotional, spiritual. And now, you possess the wisdom to learn how to endure it not with debilitating panic, but with quiet, unyielding power. Here's how to cultivate Gamen. Sit with discomfort *** instead of perpetually seeking immediate escape. Try this. The next time you feel the unwelcome pangs of anxiety, the heavy weight of sadness, or the gnawing boredom, resist the impulse to flee. Don't instinctively reach for your phone. Don't attempt to drown your feelings with excessive food or drink. Don't scroll endlessly through digital distractions. Instead, simply sit. Breathe deeply. Observe the sensation without judgment. Say to yourself with quiet conviction, I am strong enough to feel this, and I am strong enough to survive it. The more consistently you practice this deliberate sitting with discomfort, the more psychologically unshakable you will become. Speak less. Endure more. Complain never ***. Gamen teaches you to suffer with a profound grace. This doesn't demand perpetual silence, but it absolutely means not transforming every single problem or discomfort into a public performance. Ask yourself honestly, do I talk about my problems significantly more than I actively work to solve them? Do I habitually seek sympathy from others instead of actively seeking real solutions within myself? Remember, true strength is not loud or attention-seeking. It is calm, controlled, and deeply internal. Choose dignity over drama ***. Life, by its very nature, is often not fair. People will inevitably hurt you. Things will break down. But you always retain the profound choice of how you carry that pain. Gamen instructs us. Even in the midst of profound suffering, carry yourself with honor, with unyielding kindness, with an inner peace that radiates quiet power. Because the way you choose to suffer, The resilience you demonstrate ultimately becomes your most powerful legacy. Remember this eternal truth. Storms inevitably pass, but the character you forge through them endures forever. Pain is temporary, but what you painstakingly build inside yourself, through the crucible of that pain, that is permanent. When you consistently practice gamin, you don't merely get through hard times. You transcend them. You become the kind of person that hard times, no matter how severe, can never truly destroy. This discipline will make you undeniably calmer in a world perpetually full of noise and chaos. It will make you remarkably stronger when others around you collapse under pressure. It will command authentic respect, because people instinctively admire those who carry themselves with such grace and inner resolve. And it will grant you a deep, abiding inner peace, because you will finally stop running from pain and, instead, begin consciously using it to build and reinforce the very core of your being. Gamin is not just about patience. It's about becoming emotionally undefeatable without ever needing to raise your voice. Gamin is the Japanese discipline of endurance, patience, and silent strength. It means staying calm, steady, and graceful even in the face of immense pain, profound loss, or crushing failure. Practiced with inspiring resilience during national disasters, meticulously taught through cultural narratives, and lived through everyday discipline, gamin makes you emotionally powerful, spiritually mature, and utterly unbreakable under pressure. It's not loud, it's not proud in an ostentatious way, but it is precisely the kind of quiet strength that fundamentally changes everything. Rule 7, Osoji. The discipline of cleanliness, clarity, and inner order. If your mind consistently feels clouded by stress, if your daily life often feels overwhelmingly chaotic, if you struggle relentlessly to focus, to think clearly, or even just to breathe deeply, then perhaps the root of the problem isn't solely your lofty goals or ambitions. Perhaps the fundamental issue lies in your immediate space, your ingrained habits, your surrounding environment. Because the final, and arguably the deepest, truth of Japanese discipline is this profound principle. Outer order inevitably creates inner peace. And the precise method by which they master this truth is through osoji, the ancient Japanese practice of cleaning, decluttering, and a unique form of spiritual purification achieved through meticulous physical order. But let me be unequivocally clear. Osoji is far more than mere tidying up or superficial cleaning. It is a deliberate, intentional act of clearing sacred space to become your highest, most authentic self. The word osoji simply means cleaning, yet in Japan, it transcends a mundane task. It is elevated to a deeply respected ritual, a philosophical cornerstone, and a powerful pathway to mental transformation. Osoji is practiced as a form of daily meditation through tangible, physical action. It embodies the powerful belief that a meticulously clean room is not just aesthetically pleasing. It is, in a profound sense, sacred. That a clear, uncluttered desk is not merely neat. It is a source of immense power and focused energy. That a home devoid of unnecessary clutter is not just pretty. It forms an unshakable foundation for mental clarity, unwavering focus, and profound inner strength. Let's consider one of the most respected and efficient services in the world, the Japanese bullet train or Shinkansen. Thousands upon thousands of passengers utilize these incredible trains every single day. And yet, in an astonishing feat, a small, highly disciplined team of cleaning professionals accomplishes what is known as the 7-minute miracle. In just 7 minutes, they meticulously clean the entire train. Every single seat straightened, every table immaculately wiped down, every piece of trash diligently removed, every window flawlessly spotless. But here's the crucial detail most people overlook. The workers always, without fail, bow reverently before they enter each train car. This is not done to impress observers. It is done to express profound respect. Respect for the passengers who will use the space, respect for the space itself, and profound respect for the dignity and importance of their work. This precisely is osoji in action. This is the ingrained mindset that declares, the precise way I treat this physical space around me is the precise way I treat my entire life. That is discipline. That is pride. That is unwavering power. If you consistently feel lost, chronically unmotivated, or mentally stuck in a perpetual rut, chances are you're not just distracted. You are fundamentally cluttered. Perhaps your room is a disorganized mess. Your phone screen assaults you with 1,000 unread notifications. Your computer desktop is choked with 400 scattered icons. Your closet overflows with clothes you haven't worn in years. Your kitchen countertops are buried under things you rarely, if ever, use. And most crucially, your mind is perpetually cluttered with countless thoughts you don't actually need or that serve no constructive purpose. This pervasive chaos, both external and internal, slowly but relentlessly kills your discipline. Because when you are forced to live in a state of constant clutter, your brain struggles to focus. It is perpetually managing low-level decisions, absorbing environmental noise, and battling a pervasive sense of overwhelm. And the more clutter you collect, physically, digitally, emotionally, the weaker and less effective your mind becomes. Osoji addresses this fundamental problem at its root. By meticulously learning how to clean and order your external space, you simultaneously learn how to clean and order your internal life. A young man once sought spiritual enlightenment and joined a Buddhist monastery in Japan. He arrived filled with expectations of deep meditation, profound scriptural study, and learning ancient wisdom from enlightened masters. Instead, for the entirety of his first 12 months, he was simply told, "Clean." That was his sole instruction. No scriptures, no silent contemplation, no philosophical debates, just clean. He diligently cleaned floors, scrubbed toilets, wiped walls, polished shoes, cleaned windows. At first, he was utterly frustrated. Then, he grew increasingly angry at the seemingly meaningless tasks. Eventually, he became physically exhausted. But slowly, imperceptibly, something profound began to change within him. He later recounted, "As I meticulously cleaned the visible dirt from the floor, I began to notice, with startling clarity, the accumulated dirt within my own mind. As I carefully organized the shelves, I felt my scattered thoughts mysteriously begin to align themselves. As I relentlessly scrubbed away the stubborn stains, I suddenly realized the deep-seated anger I had been unknowingly holding on to. And one day, without anyone explicitly teaching me, I found an extraordinary sense of peace. This precisely is Osoji. Not cleaning for the sake of appearances, but cleaning for the sake of achieving profound clarity. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to travel to Japan. You simply need to cultivate a deep respect for your immediate space and consciously realize that it serves as a profound reflection of your innermost soul. Here's how to begin integrating Osoji into your life. Create a sacred morning cleaning ritual *** every single morning. Before you even consider touching your phone or engaging with the digital world, dedicate 10 to 15 focused minutes to cleaning something tangible around you. Make your bed with meticulous perfection. Wipe down your desk until it gleams. Open your windows wide to let fresh air and light flood in. Neatly straighten your books on their shelves. Clear your kitchen table of any lingering clutter. This seemingly small, consistent act will profoundly ground your mind, sending a powerful message to your subconscious. Today, I am in conscious control of my world. Remove 5 things you don't need. Every single day ***, make this a relentless daily practice. Get rid of 1 item you haven't used in months or years. 1 digital file you genuinely don't need to keep. 1 photograph or image that drains your energy or evokes negative feelings. 1 unused app that wastes your time and attention. 1 limiting belief that no longer serves your highest self. Osoji isn't just about cleaning physical objects. It's about actively cleaning energies, both visible and invisible. Consciously make space, both literally and figuratively, for the expansive life you say you truly want. Build a zero-clutter workspace ***. Your workspace is, in essence, where your mind primarily lives and operates for a significant portion of your day. Therefore, make it impeccably clean, quietly powerful, and entirely free of distractions. No unnecessary junk, no visual noise, just absolute clarity. When you sit down to work in such an environment, you will feel a heightened sense of focus almost automatically, because your external environment will actively support and reinforce your internal discipline. Perform a full Osoji ritual monthly ***, once a month. Dedicate a significant block of time, perhaps half a day, to a complete, thorough cleansing of your entire space. Vacuum every hidden corner. Dust every single shelf and surface. Ruthlessly organize your wardrobe drawer by drawer. Take out every item from every drawer. Sort, donate, discard, and refresh your entire home. As you perform these actions, consciously affirm to yourself, I am not just cleaning this room. I am actively cleaning and purifying my spirit. I am meticulously preparing myself for a higher level of life, for greater clarity and purpose. That, profoundly, is the discipline of Osoji. It teaches you that true discipline isn't solely confined to the mind or willpower. It begins, fundamentally, in your immediate environment. It teaches you that your external world is a direct, undeniable reflection of your internal world. It teaches you that beauty, clarity, and peace are not elusive qualities to be found, but powerful states that can be actively created through intentional action. It teaches you to deeply respect everything you consciously choose to own, and to courageously reject anything that no longer genuinely serves your purpose. This is precisely why the Japanese are admired not merely for their remarkable productivity, but for an almost unparalleled purity of thought, elegance of design, intentionality of behavior, and overall quality of life. Because they live with unwavering order, and order leads to profound focus, and focus ultimately leads to sustainable greatness. Osoji is the Japanese discipline of cleaning, clearing, and profoundly respecting your space. It is practiced with devotion in homes, schools, temples, and even on their world-renowned bullet trains. It is far more than cleaning. It is a profound form of spiritual purification. A clean space inevitably leads to a clear mind. A clear mind inevitably leads to focused, intentional action. Osoji is how you train your discipline to activate and thrive the very moment you wake up, transforming the world around you into a reflection of your inner commitment. We have just walked through 7 powerful Japanese rules of discipline, rules that are not merely abstract ideas or philosophical constructs, but living, breathing principles that have profoundly shaped a nation universally admired for its strength, its unwavering order, and its extraordinary resilience. But now, the real, pressing question is not about Japan's mastery. It's about you. Will you choose to continue living the same way you have been, perpetually distracted, chronically unfocused, endlessly waiting for some elusive right time that may never arrive? Or will you courageously take these 7 transformative rules and consciously make them the unshakable backbone of your entire life? Because discipline, in its true essence, is not about being strict or rigid. It's not about punishment or self-flagellation. It's not about forcibly compelling yourself to do things you despise. Discipline is, in fact, about living with profound purpose, with unwavering clarity, with undeniable strength, and with inherent dignity. It is about the meticulous, intentional process of becoming the kind of person who simply cannot be broken, no matter how tough, unfair, or devastating life ultimately gets. And here is the uncompromising truth. If you apply even one of these rules, consistently starting today, your life will begin to perceptibly change. If you commit to applying all 7, your life as you know it will never ever be the same again. So, take these invaluable lessons. Live them. Breathe them into every fiber of your being. Pass them down as a precious legacy to your children. Strive to build a life that, one day, you can look back on with profound pride and unequivocally declare, I lived with discipline. I lived with unwavering meaning. Because one day, make no mistake, time will test you. And in that defining moment of trial, fleeting motivation will not save you. Convenient excuses will not protect you. Only your deeply cultivated discipline will stand as your unyielding shield and your most powerful ally. This was not merely a video or an article. This was your definitive wake-up call. Now, the choice and the responsibility is entirely yours. If you want more life-changing lessons, presented in simple, easy-to-understand English, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now. Watch our other transformative videos. Share this crucial message with someone you know who desperately needs it. And most importantly, apply what you have learned today, because the world doesn't change when you passively watch. The world changes, fundamentally and powerfully, when you actively act. Thank you for watching. And always remember this profound truth. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is strength. Discipline is the undeniable path to the life you truly deserve.